Have you ever wondered why some men radiate an unsettling calm, a gravity that seems to bend the emotional atmosphere around them? Why, in a world of frantic noise and desperate longing, a rare few move through the morning shadows with a presence so silent, so contained, that even desire itself hesitates to approach? There is a blueprint for this kind of man, a code etched not in the glare of attention, but in the quiet rituals of dawn, where the mind is most naked and the soul is most honest. Marcus Aurelius, emperor and philosopher, knew this power intimately. He wrote not to impress, but to survive the storms within and without. His mornings were not a battle for productivity, but a sacred forging of self, a preparation for the chaos that would inevitably crash against the walls of his composure. In the earliest hours, before the world has found its voice, a man stands alone in the half-light. He does not reach for his phone, nor does he scroll for meaning in the digital fog. Instead, he claims the silence as his own, letting it settle into his bones. This is not weakness or withdrawal, it is the first act of mastery. For in silence the mind reveals its secrets, the anxious flicker of regret, the echo of yesterday's wounds, the haunting spectre of unmet expectations, all are laid bare. Most men run from this. Most men fill the void with noise, with distraction, with the endless pursuit of validation. But the man who is dangerous, the man who is remembered by those who meet him, is the one who does not flinch from his own shadow. He sits with discomfort. He listens to the ache in his chest, the tension in his jaw, the restless hunger in his spirit. He does not judge these things, he observes them. This is radical acceptance, the Stoics' first lesson. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment." The emotionally dangerous man internalizes this. He knows that suffering is not the enemy, attachment to suffering is, and so as the sun begins to rise, he lets the world's expectations dissolve. He does not need to be liked, he does not need to be understood. He needs only to be present, to be awake to his own existence. You may feel this tension within yourself, the urge to prove, to perform, to be seen. But imagine, just for a moment, what it would mean to release that urge, to wake in the morning and simply be without apology or anticipation, to let the silence nurture you rather than threaten you. This is the foundation of emotional danger, the refusal to be ruled by the need for approval. It is a kind of self-possession that cannot be faked, a depth that calls to others even as it remains untouched by their judgments. As the man rises, he does not seek comfort. The world is soft, but he chooses the cold. Cold water on the skin, a shock to the system, a reminder that pain is not to be avoided, but embraced. This is not self-punishment, it is self-education. The body learns what the mind must remember, that discomfort is temporary, and that strength is born in the willingness to endure. Marcus Aurelius endured much, betrayal, illness, loss, and yet he wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." The emotionally dangerous man embodies this. He does not run from difficulty, he walks into it, knowing that each challenge is an invitation to grow. You can see it in the way he moves, deliberate, unhurried, grounded. He does not apologize for the space he takes up, nor does he shrink to make others comfortable. There is a quiet confidence in his bearing, a sense that he is at home in his own skin. This is not arrogance, it is the fruit of self-mastery. When a man ceases to be at war with himself, he becomes a force that unsettles those who are still trapped in their own chaos. His calm is not passive, it is provocative. It makes others question their own restlessness, their own compulsions. He is a mirror, reflecting back the truth that most are too afraid to face. In the solitude of morning, the emotionally dangerous man takes up his pen, not to record the events of his life, but to interrogate the landscape of his mind. What am I avoiding? What am I afraid of? What wounds still bleed beneath the surface of my composure? This is shadow work, the ruthless examination of the self, the willingness to confront the darkness that others hide from. Marcus Aurelius's meditations were never meant for public consumption. They were private letters to his soul, confessions and corrections, reminders of what it means to be human in a world that demands the impossible. The man who journals in this way is not seeking perfection. He is seeking truth, and that truth is often ugly, uncomfortable, and liberating. You may find yourself recoiling from this practice, tempted to gloss over your own failings, to distract yourself with the busyness of the day. But consider what it would mean to face your fears head-on, to name them, to strip them of their power by dragging them into the light. This is the essence of Stoic courage, not the absence of fear, but the refusal to be ruled by it. The emotionally dangerous man is not fearless. He is simply unwilling to let fear dictate the terms of his existence. His body is not neglected in this ritual. Movement is sacred, stretching, running, the slow discipline of martial arts. He needs no audience, no validation. The world may never see the hours he spends honing his strength, but it will feel the results. Marcus Aurelius trained his body as he trained his mind, with discipline, not vanity. The emotionally dangerous man is not obsessed with appearance. He is obsessed with integrity. Each movement is a prayer, a declaration that he will not be a prisoner of his own lethargy. He rises, he moves, he breathes, and in doing so he reminds himself that he is alive, that he is capable, that he is free. The world outside may be chaotic, but within the walls of his morning there is order, there is intention, there is a quiet power that grows with each passing moment. He does not seek to control the world, he seeks to control himself. And in that self-control he discovers a freedom that cannot be taken, a strength that cannot be broken. He stands by the window, the city still asleep, the sky bruised with the first hints of light. Here, regret is given its moment, not as a tormentor but as a teacher. The emotionally dangerous man does not deny the sting of past mistakes. He lets them surface, feels their weight, and then, with a slow and deliberate breath, releases them. Most men carry yesterday like a burden strapped to their backs, unable to forgive themselves, unable to move forward. But this man knows the poison of regret is only potent when swallowed in silence. Marcus Aurelius counseled, "Do not waste what remains of your life in speculating about your neighbors, unless with a view to some mutual benefit. Suppose you are often forgetting what is in your own power to do." The Stoic man turns his gaze inward, refusing to be ensnared by the opinions and memories of others. Each morning he performs a quiet exorcism, letting go of what he cannot change and reclaiming the energy wasted on self-pity. There is a sacred violence in this act, a breaking of chains, a refusal to be haunted. The emotionally dangerous man does not seek to erase his past. He integrates it, weaving the lessons into the fabric of his presence. This is why his silence is so unsettling, why women sense a depth that cannot be mapped, why rivals feel a chill in his calm. He is not free from pain, but he is free from its tyranny. He walks forward unburdened, his regrets transformed into wisdom, his wounds into quiet power. As the world begins to stir, the emotionally dangerous man asks himself a question more important than any to-do list or affirmation. What is truly mine to control today? This is the fulcrum of Stoic power, the place where ego dissolves and freedom begins. Most men squander their mornings on anxiety over things they cannot touch. other people's moods, the weather, the shifting tides of fortune. But the dangerous man is ruthless in his focus. He knows that his mind, his actions, his responses, these are his domain. Everything else is smoke, illusion, distraction. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." The man who internalizes this truth becomes immovable. He does not react to every provocation, does not chase every desire, does not crumble beneath the weight of chaos. Instead, he moves with purpose, conserving his energy for what truly matters. You too have felt the pull of distraction, the urge to control what lies beyond your reach. But imagine the liberation of letting go, of pouring all your will into the few things that are yours alone. The emotionally dangerous man is not cold, he is clear. His boundaries are not walls but gates, opened only to what serves his higher purpose. This clarity is magnetic. It draws others in, yet keeps them at a respectful distance. They sense that his attention is a gift, not a given, and that his approval cannot be bought or begged. There is an intimacy in his detachment, a paradox that confounds those who encounter him. He can love deeply, but does not cling. He can give fully, but does not lose himself. The emotionally dangerous man understands that attachment is the root of suffering, not because love or ambition are wrong, but because obsession with outcomes is a prison. Marcus Aurelius lived among emperors and traitors, lovers and enemies, yet his heart remained his own. The Stoic man steps into the world each morning with a silent vow. I will give my best, but I will not beg for results. I will strive, but I will not be possessed by my striving. This is the promise of detachment, not absence, but mastery. The emotionally dangerous man is present, alive, engaged, but never enslaved. His eyes are clear, his voice calm, his energy steady. He is the storm contained, the fire that warms but does not burn out of control. To those around him, he is a mystery. How can someone care so deeply and yet remain so free? The answer lies in his mornings, in the rituals that anchor him, in the philosophy that shapes his soul. You may wonder what it feels like to live this way, to wake each day with intention, to move through the world unshaken, to love without losing yourself. The truth is, it begins in small choices, repeated until they become character. The emotionally dangerous man is not born, he is forged. Every morning he chooses silence over noise, discipline over comfort, presence over regret, clarity over chaos, detachment over desperation. These choices accumulate, building a fortress within, a sanctuary that no one else can enter without invitation. The world tests him, as it tests all men. There are temptations, betrayals, disappointments, and losses. But the Stoic man does not crumble. He bends, he adapts, he endures. His strength is not brittle but supple, rooted in the deep soil of self-knowledge. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." The emotionally dangerous man guards his thoughts as a king guards his treasury. He does not allow bitterness to take root, nor does he indulge in fantasies of revenge or self-pity. His mind is a garden, tended each morning with care, weeded of illusions, watered with truth. Others may not understand him. They may mistake his silence for indifference, his discipline for coldness, his detachment for arrogance. But those who look closer see something else, a man who is deeply alive, fiercely present, and utterly unafraid of himself. This is the man who leaves an imprint on every room he enters, who lingers in the memory long after he has gone. Women sense his depth, his unavailability, his refusal to be conquered by emotion or circumstance. Rivals sense his resolve, his unshakable core, his unwillingness to compromise his values for approval. In the end, the emotionally dangerous man does not need to announce his power. It is felt, not flaunted. It is the quiet in his gaze, the steadiness in his step, the calm in his chaos. He is a living paradox, open yet guarded, loving yet detached, present yet untouchable. And each morning, as the world awakens and the noise begins again, he returns to his rituals, to his blueprint, to the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius and the hard-won lessons of his own journey. In the hush before the world demands his attention, he becomes the architect of his own mind. He knows that the first words spoken each day are not to others, but to himself. The emotionally dangerous man chooses his inner dialogue with the precision of a master craftsman. He does not allow the mind to wander unchecked into fantasies of inadequacy or comparison. Instead, he recalls the wisdom of the ancients. The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. He catches the first anxious tremors and gently, ruthlessly, replaces them with intention. He is not immune to insecurity, no man is, but he refuses to feed it. He starves the ego of its daily feast of self-doubt, and in that deprivation, something new is born. A quiet, unyielding confidence. This confidence is not the brashness of youth or the posturing of the insecure. It is the settled knowing of a man who has met himself in the mirror, in the journal, in the cold water, and found both darkness and light. He does not flinch from either. When he steps into the day, he does so with an awareness that most men never taste, a sense of being both the observer and the actor, both the storm and the eye within it. He is not easily provoked, for he has already provoked himself. He is not easily seduced, for he has already faced his own desires and named them without shame. To those who watch him, there is an aura, a sense of distance, of mystery, of unspoken intensity. Women are drawn to the gravity of his presence, sensing that here is a man who cannot be manipulated by flattery or need. He listens deeply, but does not reveal himself easily. His words are measured, his gaze unwavering. He does not chase, nor does he flee. He simply is. In a culture addicted to drama and reaction, this stillness is almost supernatural. It is the fruit of mornings spent in honest reckoning, in the cultivation of self-possession. At times, the emotionally dangerous man is mistaken for cold or aloof. But those who linger in his presence soon realize that what they feel is not distance, but depth. His boundaries are not walls, but rivers, clear, flowing, impossible to cross without permission. He is generous with his attention, but never careless. He knows that what he gives is valuable, and so he gives it sparingly, deliberately. The world, accustomed to men who pour themselves out in desperate hope of being chosen, is startled by the man who chooses himself first, who is not afraid to be alone with his own company. He has learned, through pain and persistence, that self-worth is not a negotiation. It is not earned through the approval of others, nor is it lost through their rejection. It is a birthright, guarded and reclaimed each morning in the rituals of self-mastery. Marcus Aurelius, beset on all sides by the demands of empire, understood this truth. Never esteem anything as of advantage to you that will make you break your word or lose your self-respect. The emotionally dangerous man has made a covenant with himself, a vow to protect his integrity, to honor his word, to live in alignment with his deepest values. This is the source of his power, the reason his presence lingers like a scent in the air. You may feel the pull of these words, the ache of recognition in your own chest. Perhaps you have spent too long seeking outside yourself, hoping to find in another's eyes the validation you could not give yourself. But the blueprint is here, ancient and unchanging. Each morning you are offered a choice: to drift in the current of your own unconscious patterns, or to rise and shape your day with intention. The emotionally dangerous man is not a myth or a miracle. He is a man who has chosen again and again to do the hard thing first, to face himself before facing the world. His mornings are not rigid or performative. They are alive, responsive, evolving. Some days the silence is enough. On others, the journal is a battlefield. Some mornings the body aches and resists, but he moves anyway. The rituals are not an end, but a means, a scaffolding for the soul to grow. He does not worship the habit. He worships the transformation that the habit makes possible. This is why his power cannot be copied, only cultivated. It is not the cold shower or the meditation or the perfectly crafted affirmation that makes him dangerous. It is the relentless commitment to self-honesty, to discipline, to the pursuit of inner freedom. The world will test the boundaries he sets. There will be those who try to pull him back into old patterns, who resent his refusal to play the role of the needy, the predictable, the easily conquered. But the emotionally dangerous man does not fight these battles on the world's terms. He wins by not playing. He walks away from drama, from manipulation, from the games that drain his energy and cloud his vision. His detachment is not a weapon, but a shield, a way of preserving his peace in a world that profits from chaos. In relationships, he is both anchor and wind. He brings security, but never complacency. Those who love him learn quickly that his affection is deep, but never desperate, that his loyalty is fierce, but always freely given. He does not demand, nor does he beg. He invites, and in that invitation is a challenge. Meet me where I am, or watch me walk away. This is the essence of his emotional danger, the knowledge that he will not betray himself for anyone, no matter how beautiful or persuasive. He knows that true intimacy is born not of need, but of choice. He chooses every morning to be whole before he is half of anything else. He brings to his lovers, his friends, his work, a fullness that cannot be drained by disappointment or rejection. When he is wounded, he does not collapse. He retreats to his rituals, to the forge of his own making, and returns stronger, clearer, more himself than before. This is the man who changes the temperature of a room, who leaves others wondering what it is about him that cannot be named or claimed. It is not mystery for its own sake, but the natural result of a life lived in alignment, of mornings spent in the company of one's own soul. The emotionally dangerous man is not perfect, nor does he pretend to be. He is simply awake, awake to himself, to the world, to the endless possibility of each new day. There is a certain gravity to the man who has mastered his mornings. It is not the weight of arrogance or the heaviness of suppressed pain, but a groundedness that comes from relentless self-confrontation. He is not distracted by the fleeting storms of emotion that buffet lesser men. Instead, he has learned to watch his own feelings as a hawk observes the trembling of grass, a signal, not a command. The emotionally dangerous man does not suppress his feelings, nor does he become enslaved by them. He lets them rise, crest, and fall away, knowing they are visitors, not kings. This is the secret that unsettles those around him. He is not at the mercy of his moods. He has seen anger and learned to let it burn without consuming him. He has felt desire and learned to savor it without surrendering his sovereignty. He has known loneliness and chosen, in that emptiness, to become his own companion. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." The emotionally dangerous man has made his soul a fortress, not of stone, but of acceptance. He does not flee from himself, and so he cannot be chased by the world. You may have felt the chaos of emotions, the urge to escape into distraction or numbness. But what if instead you sat with your discomfort? What if you learned to watch your thoughts and feelings as passing weather, letting them teach you, but never letting them define you? The man who does this becomes ungovernable. He is not cold, he is clear. His clarity is both a comfort and a challenge to those who meet him. In his presence, others sense their own turbulence reflected, and it unsettles them. They wonder how he can remain so steady, so unmoved, so quietly powerful. He does not speak often, but when he does, his words land with the weight of truth. He has no need to impress, for he has already impressed upon himself the standards by which he lives. His silence is not emptiness, but a reservoir, deep, still, and filled with the wisdom of unspoken battles. Those who are accustomed to men who fill the air with noise, who chase laughter and applause, are disarmed by the man who is content with silence. In that silence is an invitation. Come closer if you dare, but know that you will find no easy comfort here. The emotionally dangerous man is not a tyrant. He does not need to dominate others to feel powerful. His power is self-contained, self-renewing. He is generous with his strength, but never reckless. He gives, but does not bleed himself dry. He loves, but does not lose himself in the process. This is the paradox of Stoic masculinity. The softer he becomes with himself, the harder he becomes to disturb. The more he accepts his own frailty, the more invincible he appears to the world. His rituals are not armor against life, but a way of embracing it more fully. He meditates, not to escape, but to see more clearly. He moves his body, not to punish it, but to honor it. He reads, not to accumulate facts, but to deepen his understanding of himself and the world. Each habit is a thread in the tapestry of his character, woven with intention, strengthened by repetition. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." The emotionally dangerous man does not resent obstacles. He welcomes them as opportunities to refine his discipline. To the outside world, his habits may seem rigid, even ascetic. But within there is a wildness, a freedom born of self-mastery. He is not a prisoner of routine, but a lover of ritual. He knows that the most dangerous man is the one who can sit with himself, undistracted, unafraid, undivided. This is the man who cannot be manipulated, who cannot be rushed or provoked into losing his center. You may have wondered what it would mean to be truly free, not from responsibility, but from the compulsion to please, to perform, to conform. The emotionally dangerous man has tasted this freedom, and it has made him both more compassionate and more ruthless. Compassionate because he understands the struggle within every human heart. Ruthless because he will not betray himself for the comfort of others. He is not immune to pain or failure. He is not untouched by loss or disappointment. But he is resilient because he has learned to meet suffering with open eyes and an open heart. He does not seek to numb or deny his pain. He lets it teach him, shape him, deepen him. In this way, his wounds become his wisdom, his scars, his strength. Those who love him learn that his affection is not a balm for their wounds, but a challenge to heal themselves. He will walk beside them, but he will not carry them. He gives freely, but he does not rescue. In his presence, others are forced to confront their own shadows, to rise to their own potential, or to fall away. This is the danger he presents, not the threat of violence, but the threat of awakening. He is the man who can walk away from anything that threatens his peace, not out of arrogance, but out of respect for himself and for others. He knows that true connection cannot be forced, that love cannot be begged or demanded. He does not chase what is not his, nor does he cling to what is passing. In this, he is both deeply human and strangely untouchable. His mornings are the crucible in which he is formed, day after day, year after year. He does not seek perfection, but presence. He does not strive for invulnerability, but for invincibility of spirit, the quiet, unbreakable resolve that nothing outside himself can dictate the terms of his life. This is the final, unspoken lesson of the emotionally dangerous man. His strength is not a mask, but a mirror. To encounter him is to be confronted with your own potential for mastery and your own avoidance of it. His presence asks a silent question. What would your life look like if you stopped running from yourself? If you stopped waiting for permission to be whole, to be sovereign, to be at peace? He does not offer easy answers. He does not preach or persuade. Instead, he embodies the possibility of a different way of being. In his company, you feel both drawn in and challenged, comforted and unsettled. He makes you want to rise to your own standard, to build your own rituals, to become the architect of your own mornings. This is his true gift, not the promise of safety, but the invitation to courage. Marcus Aurelius understood that philosophy was not an escape from life, but a preparation for it. The emotionally dangerous man lives this truth. He does not hide from the world, nor does he seek to conquer it. He simply meets it, day after day, with a mind that is clear, a heart that is open, and a spirit that is unyielding. He is not afraid to lose, because he knows that nothing essential can be taken from a man who possesses himself. You too can begin this journey. You do not need to become a Stoic emperor or a solitary ascetic. You need only to claim 1 hour of silence, 1 act of discipline, 1 honest page in your journal. Begin with what you can control. Let go of what you cannot. Watch your thoughts. Tend your habits. Forgive your failures. Love your solitude. In time, you will notice a shift, a growing steadiness, a quiet confidence, a sense of being at home in your own skin. Others may not understand. They may question your distance, your calm, your refusal to be swept up in the drama of the day. Let them. Your life is not a performance for their approval. Your mornings are your own. Your soul is your own. And as you walk this path, you will find that the world bends ever so slightly to the gravity of a man who has mastered himself. This is the blueprint. This is the invitation. The emotionally dangerous man is not rare because he is special, but because he is willing to do what most men will not, to sit with himself, to choose discipline over comfort, to love without clinging, to let go without regret. In this, he is both a threat and a beacon, a reminder that true power is always quiet, always earned, and always begins within. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you found it helpful, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe the channel. Also, make sure to hit the notification bell so you won't miss any of my upcoming videos. Thanks again for your support and see you in the next video.